Hello everybody, today we are interviewing Hugues Abriel. He is a member of the Scientific Evaluation Committee of the Dravet Syndrome Foundation, and he directs TransCure, a research network on ion channels and membrane transporters. Hello Hugues, how are you?
Hello Martha, I'm doing fine. I'm here in Lausanne where I live. I'm doing okay. Looking forward to answer your questions.
Why did you become a researcher?
Just curiosity, curiosity about, how the human body works and how diseases happen, right? I was mainly interested in when I was young and a teenager about brain and drugs, how these small molecules, they modify, the way you perceive the environment. And I found that fascinating and I really wanted to know more about that.
What degree did you complete it?
So I thought I had to study biochemistry and pharmacology, and which I did. So I went to the Polytechnic School at ETH in Zurich, studied there pharmacology. But then I also found that if I really wanted to understand, the disease part of the brain and the human body, I needed to study medicine. Then I studied medicine at the University of Lausanne.
Did you do any postgraduate courses, any doctoral theses?
Yes. So during my studies, I did my PhD in physiology, and that's where I started to work with ion channels. And then I did a bit of clinical work, 2 years in internal medicine, and then I really started my research career with 2 postdoctoral fellowships, one in Lausanne and one in New York at the Columbia University.
For people that are beginning right now to become researchers, what values do you think they must have?
Well, I think you really have to have some sort of passion for what you're, learning and doing. Otherwise, I'm sure that you'll not be that good at it. And everyone has some special skills, right? And I think the earlier you learn about your skills, where you're good at, then the better it is for you. And obviously, it's perseverance, hard work. So it's not easy, but if you have this motivation, this passion, so that's going to be much easier.
What do you like most about being a researcher?
It fulfills, this need of curiosity. Every day you learn something new in reading papers or in working in the lab with your collaborators. It's a never-ending story. Really, every day you learn something about diseases or just physiology and how the human body is working.
What do you like least about being a researcher?
The older you get, the higher level you have to work, and so you're asked to do things that are outside from what you learned and what you wanted to do. It may be administrative work, or sometimes being involved in a jury for a new building and those kind of things.
And what is your career goal?
My career goals, my career will end in about 8 to 10 years. I'm trying to focus on doing meaningful things. It has to do with good science, and good science doesn't mean to publish a lot, but quality work, but also now teaching. It's very important to have your young colleagues to be able to make their own path and to teach to medical students and biology students.
How are you involved in Dravet syndrome?
I'm involved because I've been studying ion channels. And as you know, Dravet syndrome, the basis of the disease is because some ion channels in the nervous system are not working properly, these sodium channels. And I've been studying these sodium channels since many, many years, but the different ones, mainly the ones expressed in the cardiac tissues, in the heart, and many, many mutations that are causing cardiac arrhythmias, hyperactivity of the heart. I've been always interested in other aspects of these ion channel disease that we call also channelopathies, channel for ion channel and pathies for disease. This is how I always followed a little bit, what was going on in the field of neurology, and that's how I've been interested in Dravet syndrome also.
And you don't only research Dravet syndrome, but a pathology of this.
That's correct. Any disease that is caused by ion channels is for me somehow interested. So I've been working in disease that are located in the kidney, in the lungs, in the muscles, in the heart, but also in the peripheral nervous system.
What are you investigating now?
Mainly cardiac disorders. Those are ion channels that are mutated in patients and that would lead quite often so-called ventricular arrhythmias that may lead to sudden cardiac death in patients. And very often we have been trying to work with mouse models that are mimicking these human diseases.
Do you have any projects for the future, or you want first to know how this one goes?
Well, yes, no, obviously, I mean, you have to look ahead, think about projects. Related to science, I'm more and more interested by the biophysical aspects of these disorders. I think this is what, where I have the curiosity mainly. And it has, I would like to develop a bit of new techniques. Actually, those are old techniques, but techniques that I would like to have in our labs, like the single channel analysis of ion channels. And when you understand that at these levels, so it's also sometimes a bit easier to really have the best therapies or drugs that may target these defectuous ion channels. That's the scientific aspect of it. So I also would like to have my activities being not only in my lab, but also working with colleagues from all over the world. I'm currently actually on an academic sabbatical. Even though I'm in Lausanne, I spend time in Africa with colleagues who would like also to research. This is one of my goals for the next 8 to 10 years to develop this aspect of my research.
I know it's going to be an easy answer for you, but I really want you to answer it. Do you think rare disease research is necessary?
It's necessary in the sense that, well, first, when you try to understand what's going on with rare disease patients, so you can better help them for sure. You may find specific drugs or specific properties of this disease that would help the patients. But it's also the case that you would understand better more common diseases. For instance, when I started to study a rare disease that was leading to an increase of blood pressure. So this was a rare disease, but in fact, blood pressure increase, this is something extremely common. And so by understanding these mechanisms of rare diseases, clearly this helps you to find new avenues for treating patients with these common disorders.
What led you to become a member of the scientific committee of the Dravet Syndrome Foundation?
So that was mainly because I was interested to be part of this community of people interested in ion channel disorders and help the foundation to mainly evaluate the best projects. And here I can help not because I understand the details of the Dravet syndromes, but because I understand in general, how disease can be caused by ion channels.
Are you optimistic about the fight against Dravet syndrome?
Genetic disorders are extremely difficult to tackle, to treat. It looks like that now with the new gene editing technologies, I mean, we are progressing quite rapidly. I'm not sure whether one has to be optimistic or not. I mean, as a person, I'm a very optimistic person. Always think that sometimes there will be a solution to almost everything, but sometimes one has to be extremely patient. It's maybe not tomorrow, but maybe in 10 years or maybe in 50 years. We don't know, but one has to stay optimistic and one has to stay curious about trying to solve these problems.
It's been a pleasure having you.
It was my pleasure, Marta.